Welcome to chapter 24, part 2. In this part of the nutrition and metabolism chapter, we are going to talk about the micronutrients, which are the vitamins and minerals. And I just want to remind you that micronutrient does by no means mean these nutrients are less important or less vital than the macronutrients. We just need them when we're looking at measurable quantities, we need these in far smaller amounts, so that's where the micro comes from. Vitamins are organic compounds that are not directly used for ATP. Remember, ATP is energy or fuel, so we can't burn a vitamin to make energy. That's why vitamins do not have any calories, but we need them for metabolic reactions and other processes in the body. Most of your vitamins must be ingested, but we can make vitamin D in the skin. We have talked previously about how vitamin D is called a vitamin, but it kind of really is more of a hormone and, I don't know, might be reclassified at some point during your careers. Your intestinal bacteria in your large intestine can also make some B vitamins and vitamin K. And then in your body, we can take beta carotene, which comes from orange vegetables like carrots and sweet potatoes, and convert it to vitamin A. The water-soluble vitamins are going to be, there's a whole string of B vitamins that we name B1, B2, all the way up to B12 we'll talk about, and vitamin C. So those are water-soluble, which means that when your body has enough of them, any excess is washed out in your urine. So there's really no need to take excessive doses of these. Up to the RDA is fine, because beyond that, you're just creating some really expensive urine. Fat-soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E, and K, and these can be stored in your fat stores. So these are the ones that we really need to make sure that we are not getting too much of, because we can get some toxic levels and some negative consequences of excessive A, D, E, and K intake. No one food group contains all of the vitamins, so this is why we want lots of variety, lots of different fruits and vegetables and grains, and different colors of vegetables and fruit even. Vitamin A is found in dairy products. And so vitamin A is the animal form of this vitamin. Plants do not have vitamin A, but they have a product called beta carotene that our body can convert to vitamin A. So the plant form is called beta carotene, and we find that in the deeply colored vegetables, the greens and the orange vegetables. Vitamin D is found in fortified dairy products. So it's pretty low in actual dairy products, but because dairy products are an excellent source of calcium, we add vitamin D to those food products to enhance the absorption of the calcium that you're taking in. We also find vitamin D in eggs, tuna, and salmon, and then our bodies can make D when we are exposed to the sun. Vitamin E is found in vegetable oils and nuts and seeds. Most of these are the nuts and the seeds that we compress to make the oils, like peanut oil or avocado oil or corn oil. Vitamin K is found in dark leafy green vegetables. The B vitamins are found in your meats, dairies, whole grains, and we add lots of B vitamins to your processed grains. You'll see those called enriched on the product labels. Vitamin C we find in citrus foods, green vegetables, broccoli, and tomatoes. So what do vitamins do? They function as coenzymes, which basically means they help kickstart metabolic processes, and they function as antioxidants. Oxidants are naturally occurring but dangerous radicals that we produce in normal metabolism. So They are normal and natural that we produce. However, we can't let them sit around because they will cause problems. They are highly associated with cancer. So we need the antioxidants that we make from vitamins to go around and vitamins act as antioxidants to convert these oxidants and free radicals into a form that we can get rid of in our body and prevent us from getting sick. So if you think about the oxidants being trash, the garbage that we make by normally making food and dinner, the normal processes that go on in your home, you're going to make some garbage. But if you let the garbage sit around, it's certainly going to cause some problems. Beyond smelling bad, oxidants in your body are associated with really every form of cancer. So we want to get rid of them. And the antioxidants will take the garbage out, if you will. Vitamin C, E, and A, and the mineral selenium are the most prevalent antioxidants that neutralize these free radicals. And like I said before, megadoses of vitamins are really useless and can cause some toxicity. So we want to get them to our regular levels. Vitamin D right now is the one that, because it's less of a vitamin and more of a hormone, that we're seeing some higher than RDA levels recommended by doctors. But those levels are to get your blood levels up to where we want them to be. So it's really important to not just be randomly taking excessive vitamins without having your levels monitored so that we don't have problems. Vitamin A is specifically associated with vision, maintenance of epithelial cells, and it's an antioxidant. So when grandma told you to eat carrots because it would help you see better, she was 100% right. Vitamin D, as I've already said, aids in calcium absorption and bone metabolism. It also has a role as in your immune system, affects your mood, and has a role as an antioxidant. Vitamin E works as an antioxidant. Vitamin K is associated with blood clotting. Remember, some vitamin K is made by the bacteria in your guts. When babies are born, their gut bacteria are super immature, so they're not making any vitamin K at all, and have very low vitamin K levels. Now, the likelihood that a brand new infant is going to have some kind of experience that's going to cause them to bleed a lot and need the blood clotting cascade to activate is pretty low. However, because it has been a problem, we do give infants born in hospitals an injection of vitamin K before they leave, just to prevent any problems until their body starts making vitamin K. The B vitamins are coenzymes in all kinds of metabolic reactions. We're going to leave it as that. We're not going into more depth on that. I do want you to know B9, which is also called folic acid, is important for babies, fetuses. It is important to help the neural tube close. So if we don't have enough folic acid, we end up with something called a neural tube defect, which could be slight or severe depending on where it is. This is why we want all women of childbearing age to be eating folic acid rich foods. Those are your leafy greens and your legumes, breakfast cereals. If you are not getting that, we do want women of childbearing age to be taking a multivitamin that has folic acid in it. And that's because a lot of times these neural tubes close even before mom knows she's pregnant or has a chance to do anything about it. As we've talked about before, B12 is important for the maturation of red blood cells. Without it, we end up with something called pernicious anemia. Vitamin C is an antioxidant. It is super important for collagen synthesis. And if we don't have collagen in our connective tissues, we're going to end up with weak and loose bones and joints, some problems with cartilage development, bleeding gums, and wound healing. If we don't get enough vitamin A, that is associated with blindness and impaired immune function. Low levels of vitamin D are associated with rickets in kids and bone density issues in adults. We also know that and you end up with a weakened immune system. I need to add that because that's kind of new stuff. Vitamin E deficiencies are associated with problems with the nervous system. Vitamin K with poor blood clotting. Vitamin C, low levels of vitamin C are associated with scurvy, which is a disorder of connective tissue where you have bloody gums and weak joints and etc. Also, low levels of vitamin C are associated with your immune system. This is your B vitamins. In general, deficiencies lead to. So the ones that I put here are the ones that have some known disorders. So low B1 is called beriberi. You end up with problems with your nerves, loss of nerve function, loss of sensation, tingling, and all that. B12 is, B2 is associated with skin problems and cracks on the sides of your mouth. B3 with skin and digestive system lesions. B5, fatigue, as well as numbness and tingling, this neuropathy like we see in B1. B9, we talked about birth defects and spina bifida, and B12, pernicious anemia. If we have too much, remember, we're mostly looking at the fat-soluble vitamins here because they are stored and we can end up with problems. So too much vitamin A can lead to vision problems, also liver and bone damage. Too much vitamin D can affect your brain, heart, and kidneys. We rarely see too much vitamin E. Vitamin K, again, liver damage and anemia. Too much B is rarely seen because these are washed out in your urine. The only thing is if we take super amounts of folic acid, we might mask a B12 deficiency for symptoms. That would not be masked in a blood test. And too much vitamin C, again, vitamin C is not stored, but it can just hurt your digestive tract, give you an upset stomach. All right, minerals, we have 7 that we're going to look at: calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, and iodine, as well as the electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and chloride. Minerals like vitamins are not used as fuel, so they don't have any caloric content. We use them as strengthening materials. And we rarely have toxicity of these because your kidneys are balancing these out. Dietary sources. So calcium is found in dairy products as well as dark green vegetables and fish with bones. So if you eat the sardines with the bones, you can get calcium that way. Phosphorus also found in dairy, meats and grains. Magnesium, whole grains, leafy vegetables. Iron is found in red meats, eggs, legumes, whole grains, and cereals. Iodine is found in seafood or in the iodized salt. Potassium found in meat, dairy, fruits, and vegetables. And sodium and chloride in your table salts, as well as processed foods. All right, let's look at, let me go back to the dietary requirements. So I just put them for 2 main minerals because these are the ones that I see in college students and adults being most problematic. I did give you a link to the USDA RDA guidelines for everything, so if you want to look it up. But in general, calcium, so women age 18 to 50 and men 18 to 70 need 1,000 milligrams of calcium a day, which is about 3 to 4 servings of dairy products or a calcium-rich green vegetable, spinach, broccoli, or whatever. But remember, the serving sizes for these vegetables are huge, like 3 cups of spinach. So make sure that you are getting something calcium-rich. Iron also usually seems to be a problem. So it is premenopausal women who are still getting their periods, who need the most, and that's 18 milligrams a day. Men and other adult women need 8 milligrams a day. It's found predominantly in red meat, shellfish. There's also some in like white meat chicken and things like that. It's just not as much as the red meat. About 5 milligrams in fortified breakfast cereal. So if you look for the fortified ones, or if you know with the WIC labels that WIC picks the cereals based on iron content, you can get at least 5 milligrams in breakfast cereals that are fortified. All right, continuing, these functions of minerals that we've kind of talked about this before, cofactors, calcium and phosphorus important for bones, blood clotting, nerve, and muscle function. So that's nerve conduction, muscle contraction, all need calcium and phosphorus. Magnesium is cofactor to many reactions. Iron, we need it for hemoglobin and oxygen carrying capacity. Iodine is the backbone for thyroid hormones. Without iodine, we cannot make thyroid hormones, and thyroid hormones are the most important hormones for your metabolism. We know sodium, potassium, and chloride as the electrolytes. They are very important for water balance. Water balance is blood volume balance. Blood volume associates with blood pressure. Electrolytes are also super important for nerve and function and muscle contractions. Consequences of deficiencies. So low calcium is going to lead to some loss of bone mass, muscle spasms. So when you're sometimes getting leg cramps at night, look at your calcium intake as well as your electrolytes. Phosphorus, also low levels are associated with muscle weakness and loss of bone mass. Not enough magnesium is going to lead to some muscle spasms. So you see lots of muscle contraction, nerve conduction issues here with these minerals. Iron, you all are probably familiar with iron deficiency anemia. If not, we've already talked about it. Go back and look at it. Iron is also associated with fatigue and impaired immunity. Without iodine, like I said, we don't get thyroid hormone, which leads to hypothyroidism and development of the goiter in the base of your neck. And electrolytes also associated with muscle cramps and reduced appetite. Like I said before, vitamin D is necessary for calcium metabolism. We can make that if we are in the sun. So we need to be in the sun 10 or 15 minutes a day, a couple of days a week with arms and legs exposed. That does not mean basking out in the sun for hours at a time or not wearing a hat because we want to balance good things from the sun with bad things from the sun. We know that the hormone EPO, erythropoietin, which is made by the kidney, helps us maintain our red blood cell levels, and red blood cells transport iron. Thyroid hormones are dependent upon iodine, and we cannot make iodine. We must take it in from the diet. Aldosterone is a hormone that we use to regulate sodium and potassium levels, which affect blood volume and ultimately blood pressure regulation.